So this is the headline from the Washington Post last week. It said Pentagon buries evidence of $125 billion in bureaucratic waste. So the Pentagon has buried an internal study. They did their own study and exposed $125 billion in administrative waste in its business operations amid fears Congress would use the findings as an excuse to slash the defense budget. In a confidential August 2014 memo, McKinsey noted that while the Defense Department was the world's largest corporate enterprise, it had never rigorously measured the cost effectiveness, speed, agility, or quality of its business operations. McKinsey is the company they hired to do this audit. Pentagon leaders had requested the study to help make their enormous back office bureaucracy more efficient and reinvest any savings in combat power. So the Pentagon leaders wanted to do this study, see how much money they could save. So they didn't really want to save that money. They just wanted to take whatever money they were spending too much on for their bureaucrats and put it into buying bombs and tanks and stuff. That's what they wanted to do with it. Pentagon officials knew their back office bureaucracy was overstaffed and overfunded, but nobody had ever gathered and analyzed such a comprehensive set of data before. Nor did the Pentagon have even a remotely accurate idea of what it was paying for those up. They just keep spending. That's what they say we do with Social Security and welfare and food stamps. You just spend, just throw it around, just throw money at, or education. They just throw money at the problem. We don't even have a problem, and we're throwing money at it. Billions, if not trillions of dollars. Again, so the reason I'm going over this like this is the next time you hear a politician or a conservative or a neoliberal or anybody say that America's broke and we can't afford it, or how are you going to pay for it, you tell them we got more money than we know what to do with. Okay, here we go. The Defense Business Board was ordered to conduct the study by the Deputy Defense Secretary, Robert O'Rourke. Which is quite what a great name to have.
Yeah, that is interesting.
I need some work in here. Let's get some work done. Getting some good work done. Hey, where's my work? The Pentagon's second highest ranking official. That was to this guy, Robert O'Rourke. At first, the Deputy Secretary he touted the efficiency drive as a top priority and boasted about his idea to recruit corporate experts to lead the way. So this is a big deal. He was really gung-ho. The Deputy Secretary of Defense really wanted to get this done.
He was sure it was going to work. Sorry.
Sure it's going to work.
I wanted one.
Sure, some Defense Business Board members warned that exposing the extent of the problem could have unforeseen consequences. I wonder what those are, Ron. Want to take a guess what those consequences could be? That fucking people stop giving you too much money to waste? That would be, well, let's see what they say. You're about to turn on the light in a very dark room, Kenneth Klepper, the former chief executive of Medco Health Solutions, told work in the summer of 2014. According to two people familiar with the exchange, that's what he told work. All the crap is going to float to the surface and stink the place up. Dude, you don't want to know what's going on at the Pentagon. Keep wasting money. There's too many about. Guess what work said to him? Guess what work said? Work said, do it. Do it anyway. Turn on the light. The Pentagon needed more outside expertise. A team of consultants from McKinsey was hired. The report, issued in January 2015, identified a clear path for the Defense Department to save $125 billion over 5 years. The plan would not have required layoffs of civil servants or reductions in military personnel. Instead, it would have streamlined the bureaucracy through attrition and early retirements, curtailed high-priced contractors, and made better use of information technology, IT. The data showed that the Defense Department was paying a staggering number of people, 1,014,000 contractors, Those are civilians and uniformed personnel to fill back office jobs far from the front lines. The workforce supports 1.3 million troops on active duty, the fewest since 19. So we have the fewest amount of soldiers on active duty since 1940, 1.3 million. And how many support bureaucrats do they need? They need 1 million. 14,000 to support 1 million. So there's almost 1 to 1.
Yeah, it's almost 1 to 1. Like, it's close.
For every soldier, there's a guy in a suit somewhere sitting in an office typing stuff out for him.
Man, you'd think with that kind of contractor support, we could actually help these people when they come home. But I guess it doesn't extend to that, huh?
No, you think with it's like they could all have their own personal helper when they get back to the United States. Each member of the military, because we've got 1 million extra people sitting around helping. For the military, the major allure of the study was that it called for reallocating the $125 billion for troops and weapons. So they didn't want to save the money and give it back to the taxpayer. They just want to spend it somewhere. I will take that money we saved and we'll spend it over here on bombs.
125 bill. How does that translate into tanks? How can we just get that currency in tanks, please?
How many,
make it easier.
Yeah, what is that? How many MRAPs is that? Among other options, the savings could have paid a large portion of the bill to rebuild the nation's aging nuclear arsenal, or the operating expenses for 50 Army brigades.
Our bridges are fine, but our nuclear arsenal is a little dated.
Yeah.
I'm concerned.
Me too. We got to get that nuclear arsenal.
Build brigades, not bridges.
Build brigades, not bridges.
That's a good chant, Hank.
But get this, Hank. Some Pentagon leaders said they fretted that by spotlighting so much waste, the study would undermine their repeated public assertions that years of budget austerity had left the armed forces starved for funds. So they're like, hey.
They might know we screwed up, guys.
They might know we're full of shit if we tell them this. You guys, we've been fleecing the people in charge of protecting America. We've actually been fleecing America. We're actually the criminals. So you better not let this out or people will be onto us. So instead of providing more money, they said they worried Congress and the White House might decide to cut deeper. But after the project documented far more, so Word, the Deputy Secretary of Defense, was all for it. But after the project documented far more wasteful spending than expected, senior defense officials moved swiftly to kill it by discrediting and suppressing the results.
How much was it? $1 billion? Oh, aim higher. All right, screw it. We're done. We're done.
We're done.
We're not talking anymore.
That plan's not good. So the plan was killed. The Pentagon imposed secrecy restrictions on the data making up the study, which ensured no one could replicate the findings. A 77-page summary report that had been made public was removed from the Pentagon website. So these are criminals inside of our own goddamn government, inside the own. So you understand how there's just a total corruption in our society. Wall Street, government, the Pentagon, everywhere you look, it's corruption, corruption, corruption. Look, and the opposite of lawfulness happening. We live in a lawless society where the only people who have to follow the rules are poor or the unpowerful. And so here these guys are. Go ahead.
Well, just imagine like if a foreign entity stole $125 billion. It's that simple of a thought experiment. We would go to war. We would bomb them. There'd be drones in the air after them. But we tolerate so much self-harm. It's a strange, weird psychology going on there.
And people will get mad at us for bringing this up because we're, as I've said before, we're a nation of adult children of alcoholics. We don't get mad at the guys at the Pentagon doing this stuff. We get mad at the people who tell you the guys at the Pentagon are doing this stuff. Shut up, you liberal. Shut up. You're a fairy duster. That's the way it is. You need to have a strong defense. More money on defense.
300 million, who cares? Come on.
You could have anything you want. You could have parks. Everybody could have daycare for their kids. Everybody could have universal health care. Everybody could have 4 weeks off vacation. We could have all the things they have in the rest of the world. We could have those things here, but we can't have this and that.
Well, the only difference is we wouldn't have as many billionaires.
Yeah.
And those we do have, they'd be like 30 billionaires, not 60 billionaires.
Yeah.
Do you really want to live in a society with fewer 60 billionaires, Jimmy? Come on. Grow up.
I don't. After the board finished its analysis, however, Work, the deputy of the defense, he says there is this meme that we're a bloated giant organization. Although there is a little bit of truth in that, I think it vastly overstates what's really going on, said Work.
Of course. I mean, I've always thought of the Pentagon as a small business. You know, when I think of mom and pop shops, Pentagon usually first. Pentagon.
So the guy who was totally gung-ho and said, light it up. Let's see it. Let's see all the gunk. Let's have it all float to the top. Let's get this done. Because Chuck Hagel was the Secretary of Defense who wanted to do that. And then Work acknowledged that the push to improve business operations lost steam. After then Defense Secretary Chuck Hagel was replaced by Ashton B. Carter in February 2015. Carter has emphasized other goals, such as strengthening the Pentagon's partnership with high-tech firms. Because you can't do both things.
We can make cooler weapons, you guys. We lost steam with the other stuff.
Yeah.
Skynet's expensive.
How can we find this money without any steam?
Yeah, you can't strengthen the Pentagon's partnerships with high-tech firms and cut $125 billion in waste out of your budget. You couldn't possibly do both those things. You can only do one. You can only have one focus. He said the Pentagon is adopting some of the studies. This is Work, the Deputy Secretary of Defense. He said the Pentagon is adopting some of the study's recommendations on a smaller scale and estimated it will save $30 billion by 2020.
Baby steps.
That's $7 billion a year, right? Roughly. Many of the programs he cited, however, have been on the drawing board for years or were unrelated to the Defense Business Board's research. So once again, we have criminals running our government, blatantly being criminal, no one holding them to account, nobody. When when the whole goddamn Pentagon moves to do an illegal war, I guess holding people accountable after that is ridiculous. After the government orders torture and the Pentagon carries it out, and nobody's ever held accountable, I guess it's silly. So there you go. So the next time anybody tells you that, oh, it's crazy that you want health care, or it's crazy that you want daycare for their kids, or it's crazy that you want 4 weeks vacation for workers, or it's crazy that you want free college, they're full of shit. They're liars or they're brainwashed by the culture, the media. That's all that is. It's just brainwashing. Again, America, richest country the face of the earth has ever seen. We can afford everything many times over, but we choose. We choose. Our leaders are bought, corrupted, including Barack Obama. They're bought and corrupted, and now they serve their donors and they don't serve the people, which is why half the country in the richest country in the world that can blow trillions of dollars like this, half the country is poor. Hey, we're doing another live Jimmy Dore show the day after Christmas, December 26th. We're doing a live Jimmy Dore show in Burbank, California. Come see it. There's a link for tickets right there.